Hi guys, today's lesson is 14-10 and this is the daily Common Core review. So you should be doing this worksheet first on your Google Slides like we have been doing, and then your job is to come and watch this video so that you can see if your answers were correct. So it says use this rectangle to answer question 1 and 2, so I'm going to be using it for these first two questions. It says the rectangle represents an outline of Emily's room. Number 1, what is the perimeter of Emily's room? Remember, the perimeter is the outside area. I can see it's a rectangle, which means if this is 6 yards, this side is 6 yards. This side is 8 yards. This side is going to be 8 yards. And then I'm going to add them together for the perimeter. So I know 8 and 8 make 16, plus 6 and 6 make 12. When I add those together, I get 28 yards. Number 2 asks, what's the area of her room? This is where I'm finding it, all of my inside space. I'm finding out how much room she has inside her room. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply 6 times 8. And 6 times 8 is 48. Remember, area, I'm going to multiply. Perimeter, I'm going to add. Number 3, what's the missing number in the pattern below? To get from 2 to 6, I can either add 4 or multiply by 3, because 2 plus 4 is 6, and so is 2 times 3. Now to get from 6 to 18, I can multiply by 3, or I can add 12. Now, my pattern has to be the same, so 4 and 12 are different. I know I'm not adding, but I multiplied by 3 to get here, multiplied by 3 to get here. 18 times 3 is 54. So now I need 54 times 3. So I can break this apart, or you can stack it and do the traditional algorithm. If I do the traditional algorithm, which is the easy peasy way that I learned and your parents learned, you would say 4 times 3 gets you 12. And just like we do in addition, I carry my tens to the tens place. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 more is 16. This is a method you're going to learn in 4th grade also, so it's really good to learn from mom and dad now so that you have this in your back pocket. Another way that you can do this is you can break it apart, which is what we've done this year. You can say 50 times 3 and 4 times 3, because 54 is made up of 50 and 4. So if I find these partial products, I can add them together. 5 times 3 is 15, and I add my 0. And then 4 times 3 is 12. When I add my partial products together, I will get 162. So either way, you get the same answer, but it's just different ways of showing your work. Whichever is most comfortable for you is the method I want you to use, because math only makes sense if you use it in a way that makes sense to you. And for some of you, breaking it apart might make sense. For some of you, just multiplying it across the traditional way might make sense. And that's okay, as long as you get the same answer. So our answer is D, 162. Now we're going to move up to number 4, mental math. Tickets to a local circus cost $5 for students and $8 for adults. A group of 9 people spent a total of $60. How many adults were in that group? This one is really tricky, because you know that these two together have to add up to 60 somehow. And you know there's 9 people. So when I do this, I usually like to draw a picture of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I don't know who are adults yet and who are students. So if I start with my adults, I might have 8, and 8 would get me 16. Another 8 would get me 24, and then 32 and 40. So I know for adults so far I've got $40. 5, 10, 15, 20 for kids, and 40 plus 20 is 60. So the way I thought of this is I know it has to end in a 0. Okay, and I know that my multiples of 5s are ending in 0s and 5s. There are no multiples of 8 that end in a 5. So I needed to find a multiple of 8 that ended in a 0 and then go from there. So I knew that 8 times 5 is 40, which ends in a 0. And I needed 20 more to get to 60, which happens to be 4 multiples of 5. So if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 adults. And it doesn't ask about how many kids, but I'm going to put that there are 4 students. Here it says draw a rectangle that's not a square. I'm not going to have you do this one on your computer because it's hard to draw shapes on the computer. What time does the clock below show? Well, the hour hand is right here before the 1. So it's not 1 o'clock yet. It's before the 1. So I know it's still 12 o'clock. It's almost 1, but not quite. And then when I look at the minute hand, it's right here on the 11. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. It's 12:55. It's 5 minutes until 1 o'clock, which is why the hour hand is so close to 1 o'clock. Please make sure that you go back and double check your answers before you press turn in. If you got an answer wrong, that's okay. Look at your answer and look at mine and figure out where you made that mistake and how we can fix it next time. See you soon.